So before, I know it says press release examples, but we're going to talk about PR's press releases. So, how many people here have written a press release before?
I think I have.
So your press release is your material. You also, if you're dealing with music PR, you have two bits of assets. Three bits of assets: your press images, your bio, and your press release. If you have an artist who's about to come out with a single, those are the three things that you're going to have to basically PR them or be their publicist. A biog, for example, is when you are if I was as a PR, if I take on a new artist, okay, fine, I want you to do my PR. There are different, you have to assess the ability of the artist. So it's like, do we need media training? Does anyone know what media training is?
Yeah.
Okay, we can go through that. Do we need media training? And also, what is your narrative? What is your messaging? What is your story? What do you want people to know about you? Do you want people to know that you come from a broken home? Do you want people to know that you come from a state in East London, but now you're an entrepreneur? Do you want people to know this? So we usually sit down with an artist for about 2 or 3 hours in a room, and we ask them every single possible narrative that we can use in their PR, basically. Tell us everything. Don't leave anything out. From that, a biog is then constructed about the artist's life. Now, biogs are generally, in the music industry, are generally written by journalists. Reason being is the best asset you can have is something that a journalist can receive and just cut and paste because it's in their language. It's not PR language, it's actually another journalist who wrote it. So for them, it's literally about cutting and pasting it and then printing it. So biogs are best served when it's written by somebody of the same ilk, because journalists speak the same. They might not write about the same things, because a public affairs journalist is not going to write about, you know, stuff that's going on in Sudan and Boko Haram or ICE. They're just not going to be the same. However, when you write things like a journalist, a music journalist will generally see another music journalist's work. So what usually happens in the music industry is a journalist will write a biog. You as the PR will then construct a press release from the biog. That is, I'm talking about a new artist that you're just about to PR. You construct a biog. With a new artist, generally a press release is introductory. You're introducing them to your artist. But the skeleton of a press release is this. You will have 3 or 4 lines, no more, as your first paragraph. And everything you are about to say in your press release should be contained in those 3 lines. I.e., if I am a journalist and I read the first 3 lines, I should be able to know what you're selling me. I don't have to read the whole thing, and most journalists won't. Unless you captivate them. Or it's like a Taylor Swift release. Do you know what I mean? Or a Beyonce press release where they have to read all of it. If it's a new artist, I need to captivate them in the first 3 or 4 lines. It can never be more than that. So, this artist is releasing this single on this day, features this person. Essentially, that's what the first 3 lines has to be. Can't be any more than that. But under this label, it's literally like those bullet points. That's what your first 3 or 4 lines has to say. Your middle bit is slightly more meatier. It's actually about expanding on what you've just said above, just with a little bit more information. I'm going to give you a 3-paragraph scenario because press releases can take different, take on different styles. But then your final paragraph is about an overview of what it is an overview of why this artist is important. So what have they been doing? Have they been touring festivals the last 6 months? Have they won any awards? Have they won a MOBO? Have they won this? Have they won that? Have they been nominated for a Brit? It's about accolades, essentially. So in a brief press release, that is basically what that is going to be. It's going to be like 3 or 4 lines, what everything my release is saying condensed into 3 or 4 lines at the top. I.e., if I'm a journalist and I'm not going to read the rest of it, I need to be able to know exactly what you're selling me in the first paragraph. Then I expand a little bit, I expand a little bit more on what I'm actually selling you, what the actual single is, what's happening with the artist, why they've chosen to work with this person. Press releases are very short. They have to be 1 page. 2 pages if you're adding like a track list. But other than that, it can't be longer than, it's like a CV. It can't be longer than like a page and a half. The core information, they can be longer if you're adding editor's notes or like tour dates or stuff like that, like other things that bump it. But the core bit of your copy can't be more than a page. where that varies is if you're writing an album press release, but we can get into that. And then again, like I said, final paragraph, accolades, what have they done? Have they been nominated for a MOBO? Have they won a Brit or whatever it is? Catch them in this festival in the next couple of months or whatever it is.
Will the artists always come to you with a clear idea of the message that they want to send, or will they ask you to create that?
No. You have to work with them to do that. And I think that never let the artist release that onto you solely and they don't have any input, because you might carve something that they don't like. So it's all about working. And when you are a publicist, you have to be friends with the people that you look after. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And I'm so lucky that in people I've done PR for, I'm actually really good friends with a lot of them. And that means that when you have a 7-hour shoot and a 4-hour press day or whatever, you can just chill with them. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? You can actually, it's not about, I'm in a room, I'm a PR, I'm on my phone all the time, I don't know what to say to you, oh my God, she's famous, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So if an artist comes to you, you have to sit down with them and work out what their messaging is. And sometimes they might come to you and be like, I want everyone to know me as the new Grace Jones, and it's like, babe. It's not gonna happen. Like, so you actually have to, the one of the things that was instilled in me and all the people I've learned from is transparency. PRs in general have the ability to sell you rainbows and unicorns. Yeah, I need to get into Esquire. Yeah, we can do that. We just need to do that. No. Mm-hmm. No. You have to manage expectations. It is the only way you are going to be a successful PR. If an artist comes to you and says, I want to be in 20 blogs in the next month, it's like, well, number one, you should have come to me 3 months ago. We should have done a 13-week campaign. So you have to manage expectations. You can't just say to them, yeah, I can get you in Vice, I can get you an ID, I can get you on Days. You can't. If they've come to you with 3 weeks notice, it's like, yeah, I'm releasing a single or my video's going live on YouTube and I just need to, you can't do that. So you actually have to be able to sit down and say to them, look, this is what I can deliver, this is what I can't deliver. Here's the reason why, this is what I can deliver if you work with me for 3 months, because we will be playing the long game. We will actually, especially with music journalists, for them to buy into an artist, they have to be fans. That's the only way. So you have to make a journalist a fan of an artist. How do you make them a journalist? By playing the long game, by having a relationship with them. So you can call them up and say, look, I've just got this single of this artist, take a listen, tell me what you think. And you can have, you know, journalists are, they can be great relationships to have, and that works on a PR side and that works on an artist side as well. So you've got to get them to buy into your artist, and that's where the relationship thing comes into it as well. There's so many aspects of it, and I think that I call it the long game. It's a long game.